Today on the Name a Better Duo podcast, we have Juliene Winborne. Juliene is an experienced commercial actor, industry professional, and interior stylist with over 10 years of experience working in the entertainment industry. Born in New Jersey, she made her way to Michigan and ultimately landed in Los Angeles, California. Juliene believes that we are all called to make an impact in this world. Her top priorities will always be her faith, her family, and her vocation, and most of all, to always walk in light and love. Welcome, Juliene.
Thanks, Renee. Thanks so much. I love Name a Better Doer. I've been looking at it ever since you first started, and I'm excited and just like honored to be on this. So thank you.
Oh, that means so much. I'm honored to have you here today. And before we do anything else, I always like to introduce you to our guests by playing a little game called The People Want to Know. Because the people want to know, they want to know who Juliene is. We heard a little bit about you in the bio, but we want to know the real you. 3 questions. And the first one is, the people want to know, if you could hear any song again for the first time, what would it be?
Jaguar, probably by Victoria Monet. That song just like is like my soul in lyrics, Like when I first heard that, I was just like, oh my goodness, what is this? And who is she? So yeah, I would say Jaguar.
I feel like she's a newer artist, correct?
She is, yeah. I love like kaleidoscope R&B dreamy kind of sound, and I feel like it's my heart, and I'm like just haven't really until I was an adult found music in that genre, and so now I'm starting to discover more music like that. It's like when you finally found your taste, so I really like that song.
No, so you guys may not know, but Juliene was my roommate when I lived in Los Angeles, and you put me onto so much music. Like I'm still like in debt to you to this day for putting me on to Daniel Caesar. We went to that concert, and I'm like obsessed now. So that is definitely your vibe, but it's a good vibe. Okay, all of that music is so good. What shows are you watching right now? The people want to know.
Okay, well, everybody who knows me I love reality dating shows. Like,
right, yes.
On my Bumble profile, it's like, what does a typical day look for you? It's like, what does a typical day look like for you? I'm like, after work, it's like after work, what are you doing? I'm like either working more or watching reality dating TV. Yeah. So yeah, reality dating, everyone you could possibly think of. Oprah's Ready to Love, The Bachelor. Really? Yeah, like just like everyone that's out, I've probably seen it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and then scripted, Ozark is one of my favorite shows. Euphoria, obviously. Euphoria is like the best show on TV in my opinion. And I hope to be on that show one day. But yeah, Euphoria and Ozark, I would say, are my top two. Oh, and Love is Blind, but that goes into like.
Have you watched the new season
of Love is Blind?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's great.
Did you watch it?
It wasn't as good. I haven't watched it yet.
It's not as good. I'm just gonna say this. Don't get mad at me, people, but I just feel like the people weren't as good looking this season. Like I felt like first season, everyone was. I know. Everyone was so good looking first season.
That helps you watch the show. That helps you get into it. So
yeah, like I feel like the first season,
it is.
Yeah, it was all beautiful people. It's like, how could you not like any of these people? So I feel like this season was more realistic, which I liked.
That's true.
But it wasn't as entertaining because they didn't have the crazy girl on it, crazy Hispanic girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like she really drove the whole season. But there were some characters on this season for sure. I definitely recommend you watch it.
I am just so proud of Lauren and from the first season. Mm-hmm. Lauren and I can't think of his name, but they're like 3 years married. I did not expect anyone to make it that long.
I could see them. I feel like they complement each other well.
Yeah. It's a good show. I gotta get into the second season. Okay, last thing.
Yes.
I want to know, what is the one thing that you do that before you know it, an hour has passed by? It's like a big time waster.
Reality dating shows, which I already said. I could watch Yeah, okay. I could watch okay, this is gonna sound corny. Can I say two things?
Please.
Okay. First thing is I could watch interior design videos on YouTube like for hours.
Mhm.
Um, and the second thing is talking to my family, FaceTiming them. They don't live here, so sometimes I FaceTime them and I'm like, oh my gosh, we've been on the phone forever.
Yeah.
So I would say those are two things I could do.
Oh, that's nice. That's so sweet. And we're
Yeah.
gonna get more into that interior design a little bit later, but let's hop into these questions because you are an actress, and I
Yeah.
want to ask you first, what led you down that route? Why acting?
Um, I'm seeing a psychologist to find the root of it. I'm just kidding.
Well,
I'm only kind of kidding. No, I mean
right.
I've wanted to act as long as I can remember. So it almost feels like it chose me and not the other way around. I tell everybody like this story of how I started. Like when I was a kid, I would go into my basement. I'd wake up at 6 in the morning. I've always been an early bird. I'd go down to my basement while everybody's sleeping, pop in a what is it? A tape and
VHS.
our VHS, yeah. Pop in a VHS and like do the scenes. And then I would rewind them and rewind them and rewind them and just keep doing it over and over. And so it's something I've always been interested in. When I was in elementary, my dad, he tried to find me some stuff on Sesame Street. So it's always been a known thing in my family that Juliene wants to act. Juliene likes acting. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely think it's like a natural for you. Juliene will hop into character and into any accent at anything. Like
Thank you. Thank you. Do the interview like this.
I love it because I will try. I'll try a British accent before you know it. I sound like a Southerner. So like I always commend people who can do it so well, and you're one of those people.
Thank you. Like sometimes when I talk to people from like London, they say like you need to work on it. Like
Oh,
it's not good. So like it might just be good to be Americans. But yeah.
the untrained ear thinks it sounds great. So let's talk about your transition to Los Angeles. I'm sure acting sparked that interest. Let's
Mhm.
talk about how it happened. What was that move like for you?
Well, I was actually very resistant to acting as I got older. It just didn't seem like something that was possible. So instead, I went into television behind the camera, and that's actually what led me to LA. Is I got an internship at a pretty good production company, and I was working there, and I was like, okay, this is my shot. I'm staying, and I'm going to pursue acting.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's how it got started.
Well, I talked about your move to LA, but where are you from?
So I was born in New Jersey, Montclair, New Jersey. And then I moved, my mom got remarried and I moved to Kalamazoo, Michigan. If you guys have heard of it, put a
I'll
comment.
never forget the first time you said that. I'm like, that is not a place. That's fictional. That's not a real place.
It sounds like something in a Dr. Seuss book. When my
Mm-hmm.
mom first told me that that's where we were moving, I was like, Kalamazoo what?
Mm-hmm.
Like Kalamazoo. I'm like,
From Jersey.
Kalamazoo what? Where are you taking us? And so yeah, we ended up going there. And if you've heard of it, type in the comments that you've heard of Kalamazoo.
Yes, please.
But yeah, so I'm from Michigan.
I said one person comment.
Right. It's like negative comments. So yeah, I moved from Michigan to from Michigan to LA.
Okay. Okay. So, these last 2 years have been a bit challenging for everyone. It's been a very different experience for each person. How has the pandemic impacted you and your industry?
Well, I haven't been working much the past couple of years, so it didn't impact me too much, but it did allow opportunity for people all over to get involved. So when it first started, everything was shut down, right? So a lot of actors moved. Thankfully, I'm an actor who made our way back, but some may never come back, unfortunately. But that's one way. And one thing while I was back in Michigan that I was able to do was virtual casting director workshops. A lot of people weren't working, so there was like tons and tons of casting director workshops. And it was a great opportunity for me to build relationships with casting directors and get seen. And everything slowed down. So really, I could like hone in on that, which was great.
Mhm.
Now things are, getting somewhat back to normal, but I don't think casting will ever be the same way again. Now everybody is doing, almost everything is self-tape now. And you can self-tape from anywhere. Yes, if you get like a call back or something, you might have to fly back to LA, but you could really still get in the game, I'll say, from anywhere in the world. So that's a big way that it has changed.
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of industries have benefited in that way and realizing that you don't have to be present to do, whatever field it may be. I think that it's given a lot more people, giving people freedom to kind of, first of all, move somewhere cheaper if they want to, save some money, and still pursue their craft or pursue whatever it is that they're trying to pursue. But like you said, I'm glad that you were able to get back there because there's something different about just breathing that LA air and as a creative, especially being around so many other creatives. I say that all the time. Like it's one thing, because I am one of those people that moved back home. It's one thing to like kind of have more freedom because I'm back home, but it's just something about being other people who have that same drive as you and are on that same, path as you. It kind of fuels you and makes you go after it even more.
That's really spot on. As soon as I moved back, I felt just like the cohesive energy of everyone around me who's pursuing stuff in the arts. And it, like you said, it fuels you for
Yeah,
sure and motivates you,
yeah,
uh, keeps you on track.
exactly.
I did work a little bit during the pandemic, I will say. I did a proactive commercial, and that was different in that I would say the only thing different about that was the COVID stuff, right? So I had to do all these COVID tests constantly and mask up. So I would say when you're actually on set, aside from the self tapes when you're on set, that is another thing that's different is all the new COVID restrictions. I think they even now have COVID positions. It's like a new job, someone who is just like in charge of all COVID stuff on
Yeah.
set.
Yes, it is. It's a whole role now. It's
Yep.
crazy. But hey, more people getting paid.
Right.
You mentioned acting courses. How important do you think it is to continue to take those courses and dive into the craft in that way?
I think it's really important. I think even the greats train, no matter what you do, it never be too like always be humble enough to keep learning, like you can only get better and better and better. So I think training is super important. I actually putting a payment down tomorrow for another class that I just found. So it's really important.
Yeah, I agree. I think with anything, you have to keep learning. I told you offline, I was telling you how I've been diving into stock options. And as much as I've learned, I'm like every day I feel like I need to study something because there's always something else that I don't know. So I feel like whatever you're doing, like you have to take the time, as tedious as it can be, to study and get to learn what it is you're trying to master. You briefly, mentioned that you obsess over interior design videos. You have now, I mean, you've been doing this for a long time. I know that you've always been into like home interior and like really making a space look nice, but now you're actually pursuing that professionally as well.
Mhm.
So, how did you get into that and tell us how that journey has been for you?
It's been really fun. I am, acting is kind of a slow burn. And so it's nice to be able to like just do something creatively without any kind of restrictions. How did I get into it? I think it just started like with like word of mouth. And I started posting my room makeovers online. So at first it had to do with me like I've done it a lot. And then I remember my one friend in particular, my friend Malak, she wanted her studio apartment transformed into like a yoga studio. And I was like, let me do it for you. I'm really good at it. Like, trust me, I can do it. And so I did that and I did a really good job. And she ended up having classes there and I posted it on social media. And I think that was really when the ball started rolling with people like seeing, oh, like she does this, that was like the first time. And so from that point on, I would get more and more people reaching out saying, hey, I saw you do this. Could you do my space? Hey, could you do my space? And that led to Home Base Market, which is my interior design company. But my website is Juliene Winborne Interiors.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you have a YouTube channel, which, by the way, you do your own editing for your YouTube channel?
I do my own filming and my own editing. Right now I was like, you know what? I don't have a camera yet, but I'm not gonna let that stop me. So I just got my phone
What?
and yeah, I did everything on my phone.
When I tell you, it looks like I feel like I'm watching HGTV when I watch it. Like I've had family members watch it. I said, like, you've got to see this. Like, it's so good. And so like it feels like you're watching any show on HGTV. Like,
Thank
I see
you.
that in the future for you. Like I feel like it's so important to have more than one hobby and passion, and to be able to turn that hobby or passion into something lucrative is what it's all about, because a lot of us end up just doing these jobs just to pay the bills. But like when you can find something that you really love to do and pour into it like you have been, like to do it on your phone, and then it looks like it does on YouTube, like it looks like a legit TV show. And so I think that that's definitely going to be something that's going to be a moneymaker for you, because man, you're super talented. So check that out. JulienWinborneInteriors.com is the
Yes,
website.
you can find my pricing on there. Yeah, I offer virtual packages. So for people who aren't in, I was getting a lot of people from out of town say, oh my gosh, if only you were here, or, or a lot of people who have a lower budget. So I came up with a virtual package where no matter where you are, if you it's $300, but I will do the entire space for you. I'll design the space. So I'll give you a shopping list. I'll lay out all the furniture in the floor plan. I'll pick the colors. I'll literally do everything except for physically be there, putting everything. So you get a design space like package to you. You just have to like move stuff around.
I love that idea. That is so cool, because a lot of people, we go on Pinterest and we have all the ideas, but when we go to try to do it, it just isn't the same. And you go to World Market or TJ Maxx or wherever you go to find your at home or whatever to find your stuff, and you buy all this stuff, and now what? So to have an expert like yourself help with that process is amazing, even if it's virtually. I love that.
Thank you.
So you're an artist, clearly with all the things that you do are very creative. How important is it to you to express yourself creatively in unique ways?
So important. It's just who I am. So if I'm not creating, then I'm not living fully in myself, and that leads to other things, like, not to like take a dark turn, but like if I'm not being creative, that could lead to like me not being in such a good mood, or not, or like if you're not living in your path, I think all these other things come with that.
Yeah.
And so, I'm not sure if I'm answering the question, but I mean, I feel like if you are a creative person, you need to find some way to be creative, even if it's not like, for me, acting, right? Like I said, it was a slow burn. So I went and like used my creativity for something else that I enjoyed. It's really important for your health to be creative if you're a creative person.
No, I completely agree. And that's going to lead to my next question, because I feel like a lot of people, I feel like it's a big argument on whether or not everyone is creative. And I feel like everyone is. It just looks different for every person. I feel like we were all created to create.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone finds pleasure or fulfillment in the something that they've produced, like seeing something birth, whatever you like envision in your head, and to see it actually come to life, like that provides fulfillment. I feel like for everyone, it just may not look the same. For you, it might be, interior design. For me, it might be producing a podcast, or, I feel like everyone has that thing that's like, oh man, I did that.
Mhm.
It's just some type of, you might cook a meal and be like, oh wow, I did
It's
that.
creative.
Yeah. So
Everyone has creativity in them.
yeah.
Mhm.
So that's one of the things when I say, "Are you a creative?" I don't really mean that because I feel like everyone is, everyone is a creative in their own way.
It's like, how do you express your creativity?
How do you
No.
express it,
It's
So I
very
think
like
everyone,
thrifty to ask, but like, how do you express your creativity? Everyone has their own way. My friend, he has this like tattoo that says create on his hand. I'm like, I really like that, because like that's what we all do. We create in our own way, just like you said. So I love that.
and it's a constant reminder, like to see that on his hand. It's a constant reminder to like do that because I feel like the times where I'm not my best self or when I'm not my happiest is when I'm not creating.
Same.
Like when I am like in a place of stagnancy or just feeling like I'm just going by routine and not actually seeing something new, giving life to something new is when I'm just like, I get in that pit. So
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
have that reminder, create, girl. When you're feeling down, go do something and create.
Yep. And I agree. That's the same thing. I had to teach myself that for a while. I would feel a slump. It's like, get
Mhm.
up and create something. I'm gonna get a little neon sign above my desk that just says create.
I love that. I love that. So what have you learned? You talked about the slow burn of acting, and I know that it's like, a dog eat dog world in that industry. What have you learned about yourself and just about life in general through that process?
I love this question. I was just telling this to a friend the other day, is that I learned about myself that I moved to Los Angeles about I would say I've been here total like 6 to 6.5 years, right? But I didn't really start fully pursuing acting until maybe year like 3 years in. Um, and so I learned that I'm very entitled.
Mm,
And I felt for the longest, I, I was a little bit angry about the whole system and how the system works. And I felt I'm so talented. I should be given a role, like, because I have talent, you know? This person, they're a model, they're not even an actor,
right.
you know? Why do they get it? I could do that role so much better because I have talent. Why shouldn't I? I should have the role. And recently, I just realized, like, you don't get anywhere just because you're talented. You need to work your butt off. Nothing is handed to you in life with anything. Stop blaming people around you. Stop being negative and do what you need to do to make your dreams happen for yourself. You don't get to do this just because you're talented. There's a million talented people. You need to overwork them. And if you really want it, that's what you're going to do. It's all up to you and God. And so that's one thing that I learned about myself. And it took me a while to realize that because I wasn't really having a lot of success. Like I've done a handful of commercials, which I am grateful for. Not everybody can say that. But I was just like, man, why isn't it happening? Like you have relatives like, so how's acting going? It's like, I don't know what to tell you, because I don't have anything like any updates. But I think it's definitely like a mind shift change for me. And I think you also in this industry have to like always see that it's going to happen. You always have to have the mindset that it's going to happen. You just have to keep doing it. Once you start doubting yourself and thinking that it might not happen, that's when you get into the danger zone, you
Yeah.
know? Um, so yeah, those are some things I've learned. And then just, navigating the industry, like what classes to take, what not, like how to get in the doors. Like I didn't know for a while that casting director workshops were a thing. Like I was like, oh, you do these auditions and you talk to and they see you. Oh, okay, you have relationships with like just little things that basic things. And I'm sure there's so much other stuff I still don't know. Which goes back to what we were talking about earlier, like constantly learning, constantly being in class, constantly being around other actors, and learning from each other. So
Mm,
yeah.
this is so good. I needed this conversation today because I was having a day and I'm like, you know what? When I'm done, I'm just gonna go watch one of my TV shows. But I'm like, I have a lot of work to do. And that's the reason why you're stressed.
why don't you go do something? Like we said, create, and produce. But no, like what you said is so real because there's so many people with talent, like you said. And I've heard that all the time. Oh, you should do this. You're so good at this. And da, da, da. But until I buckled down and actually started pursuing that with like full force and like putting in the work, like you said, I really believe that's what separates the successful from the unsuccessful. Some of the
Mhm.
greatest artists aren't the best singers. They just
Mhm.
did the work,
They-
They just
yeah.
really, really put in the time and connected and did the networking and did all the things, that it requires to be successful. So, like, and then there's so many great, talented people who aren't doing the things that they're great and talented at. So it's not about that. And we do have to shift that mindset of entitlement and realize like, hey, I'm yes, I'm talented, acknowledge that, but I also have to put in the work. That's what is going to get me to the next level and allow me to succeed. I love that, Jim.
I want to add something too. I am reading this book called The Obstacle is the Way. And I had it in my cart for like months. And I finally was like, okay, my Amazon cart, let me get it. It's really helping me. It's like teaching me to see obstacles as opportunities. I
Mm,
think that's another thing just in life. People get so discouraged with the first couple of no's. And instead of like training yourself to almost get excited at the no,
yeah.
like, okay, all right, well, what else can I do? Like, and I think that's another thing with me. I would get so discouraged for the longest time. And this is not the industry to do that.
Mm,
Um, but I mean, I'm sure anybody in any other industry, like whether you're studying law, whether you're a parent with a difficult child, like anything at all, like it teaches you how to overcome obstacles and like change your mindset when it comes to obstacles. So I wanted to add that because
what's
that's
it called?
the obstacle is the way.
Obstacles the way.
I forget the
We'll find it and put it in
over there. I'm looking at it right now,
the
but if I get up, you guys might see that I'm wearing sweatpants underneath this. So
so no, that is so really that's so good because I feel like we all go through that and I think that we need that constant reminder, Like I can't tell you the amount of times that I've taken a no and thought it was a sign that I shouldn't be doing this. And it's like, no, that just means it could be that's a possibility, but it could also mean that you just need to keep going, because you're gonna hear no.
mhm.
Everyone's not gonna love you. Everyone's not gonna think that you're the best. But if you can push through those no's, that's again what allows you to be successful, is being able to push through those no's. So I
did,
love.
did you watch the Kanye documentary?
I haven't watched it yet, but I hear it's amazing.
Girl, if you watch that, you'd be like, I have not been working hard enough, okay?
Yeah, yeah,
like, like Kanye, like I was like, oh my gosh, this guy, like the hustle was real. Like I was like, wow, wow. I have so much more respect for him after watching that. Like,
everybody says that,
yeah.
and I feel like a lot of people were on the like off the Kanye bandwagon because of the stuff he does and how crazy he can be. But everyone that I've talked to has said no, like Kanye, I respect him so much more now, so I need to watch it.
Yeah, watch it.
I definitely need to watch it.
It takes that whole obstacle thing that we talked about to a whole nother level.
Yeah, I feel like that's too when they talk about genius because they throw that word around a lot with Kanye. I feel like that is a form of genius. Being able to, I feel like Michael Jordan has that. I don't know if you watch his documentary, The Last Dance, like people that are fueled by no's or
Mhm.
like by negativity, someone speaking negatively about their talent. To me, that's genius because a lot of us let that crush them. A lot
Yeah.
of us, let that defeat us and feel like, okay, that's a sign I can't do this. This isn't for me. Let me try something else.
Right.
But people that are like, you said no, bet, let me show you. That's a whole nother level of genius to me to be able to face obstacles in that way. So
That's good. Or
yeah.
the people who don't even try just at the thought that
Yeah.
somebody say no.
Yeah.
It's like nobody even said no yet. You're scared of the idea that you'll get a no, you
Yeah.
know?
How
Yeah.
weak-minded is that? And I've been that person where I'm just like, I shrivel up at that. And it's like, no, you have to be strong-minded in that way and continue to pursue what it is because you're passionate about it. You're passionate about it for a reason. And like you said earlier, I love that you said, like, you have to see it. you know, like you have to really envision it. I feel like that's one of the things I've been working on lately. It's just like, you know, more than just like creating a vision plan or whatever, like just seeing it, like actually envisioning myself where I want to be so that it can almost be like, it's mine, you know, it's a second nature for me. That belongs to me, you know?
Absolutely.
What would you say, Juliene, inspires you?
I just like really inspires me how actually in acting.
Just in life in general, what gets you moving? What gets you like motivated?
Um, Exercise gets me moving and motivated.
Mm-hmm.
Really good raw, truthful art. I'll mention Euphoria again. That show inspires me to write, inspires me to act. Cat videos. I'm sorry. You know what? I wasn't even thinking about that when I said that. Renee doesn't like cats, people.
She sends them to me to be funny, and it's not funny at all. I instantly delete, and I almost blocked her a few times.
The cat videos, they warm my heart. Like, they inspire me. Like, if I'm having a bad day, like in the morning, let's say, okay, in the mornings now, I try not to look at my phone. I try to meditate. On a good day, I will not look at my phone when I wake up. I will sit in silence for a minute, and then I will start meditating and praying. But on those days where I just start looking and I maybe see something that puts me down, I'll look at a cat video and it'll just motivate me and inspire me, you know.
Well, you know,
Whereas people,
everybody has their thing, and that's your thing. Next question. What would you tell your 18-year-old self?
What would I tell my 18-year-old self? Don't talk to that guy. I'm just kidding.
Okay. I would be like, first of all, it was only 2 years ago, but
I would say, you know, just keep going, keep your head up and keep going, and that all great things come with time. So just keep at it. Continue to walk in love. Continue to go for your passions. You know, everything comes in time.
That's good, because I think at 18, you put the pressure on yourself, and I feel like society kind of does too. To like, you go to college, you supposed to declare a major, so you're like supposed to, you know, plan out your whole destiny at 18 years old, and it's like, you know,
your brain's not even fully developed yet.
Your brain's not even fully developed yet. You know nothing at 18, okay? Like it's your first,
nothing, and you think you know everything.
exactly. And it's like your first, you know, step out into adulthood, and it's just like, who expects you to know the rest of your life at 18? But this, it boggles my mind. So I think that a lot of us could, if we could go back and talk to that 18-year-old, would have a lot to say about just chill, okay? Chill and take your time. Like you said, that's the perfect way to talk to that 18-year-old. Like, you've got time, okay? You've got time, but at the same time, be aware, because everything you're doing kind of impacts your future. So
absolutely, yeah, that's why I say go for your passions. Like, go for it.
Yeah.
But when I say take your time, meaning like it's not going to happen right away. It's possible, but don't do it for the enjoyment. Enjoy the journey. You know, don't have such expectations for immediate gratification.
That's good. I enjoy that, and I enjoy this conversation. This has been fun. It's been a lot. And I learned more about you. The people learned more about you, and let the people know where they can find you.
You can find me on Insta. My Instagram is Juliene Winborne. That's Jul. I'm just kidding. I should actually spell it for you because
you will spell it wrong.
It's JulienWinborne. So Instagram is Juliene Winborne. And then if you are interested in interior design stuff, You can find my website is julienewinborneinteriors.com. And if you are interested in acting opportunities, you can find my IMDb on my Instagram page or send me a DM.
Yes, hit her up. Thank you so much for being here today, Juliene. I have fun.
Thanks for having me, Renee. This is awesome. Thank you so much. I'm excited to finally have been on.
Yes, we'll have to come back sometime. And thank you everyone for watching and or listening to the Name a Better Duo podcast. Until next time, have an amazing week.
Bye, guys.